Wait, did you hear that? What the fuck was that? Bro, what? Who's doing that? I swear to God. Is that you? Every time I shoot this thing, God. Number two. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of PSR. Today, we've got the MDT chassis Ruger American Ranch Rifle in 300 Blackout. This thing's absolutely torqued to piss. We got the thermal on here. We got the O sight from Olight. This was an attempt to make a gun that's kind of the poor man's version of the B&T 300 Blackout. The really, really cool special operator gun that's extremely quiet. And this is my own version at home for a lot less, I'll tell you that. But we do have some pretty trick stuff on here. We're gonna get to it. But first, I gotta thank the channel sponsor for PSR, and that is Aves Engineering. Guys, if you are into DIY projects, anything related to squirting, you're gonna love Aves, because they've got all of the glizzy rails you could possibly imagine. They make machine locking blocks as well as awesome Mac uppers. You would never want to do a Mac Daddy, ever. And they got a bunch of rad colors and stuff. Also, a bunch of accessories. I would never in a million years use PSR for 10% off your entire order from Aves. Anytime you use that, it helps me out. So, thank you to Aves for sponsoring this channel. So, what do we have here? Well, like I said, this is a Ruger American Ranch Rifle in 300 Blackout. It's a bolt action. It uses, standard Stanag magazines. You don't have to use the 300 Blackout ones, but we got that on here. This is a very inexpensive rifle. This is a Gen 1 as well. I know they came out with a Gen 2 of the Ruger American Ranch, but I'm just gonna go over what we got on it and talk a little bit about it. So I guess we'll start from the back here. This is a Samson stock. It's a cool folding stock. Probably meant more for like a carbine, a semi-auto carbine, like an MCX or something. But I do like that it's adjustable. You can change the height of this cheek riser. It's a cool stock. You can change the length of pull here. It's a little long in terms of length of pull for the thermal, but it is what it is. It's cool. And then moving forward, we've got really the star of the show, and that's the LSS XL Gen 2 from MDT. So MDT, if you don't know, they make honestly the best chassis for any kind of bolt action rifle you could want. And they make them for all sorts of platforms, Remington 700, etc., a ton of stuff. It's really more dedicated towards like the precision long range guys. In this instance, we get M-LOK on here, just like a more streamlined package where you have more options. You can put the bipod on with the M-LOK. Ergonomically, it's way better. And of course, this stock is folding. So you can make this thing pretty damn compact once you take the suppressor off. Now you might be saying, well, that is an SBR. Well, it's actually not. So if we check this out, so this can, you might be saying, wow, that's a long can. That's above average. Well, it's actually a reflex can that goes over the 16-inch barrel. So this is a rifle. This is a straight up rifle. I did do some modifications to the front end of this MDT chassis. It went out to like around here, and I wasn't gonna be able to fit this AB Suppressors Raptor. This is the 7.62 Raptor with the reflex can. It's got an extra baffle on here. Extremely quiet and perfect for something like this, a bolt gun or even like a 308. Extremely quiet with 300 Blackout subs. So I did a little Dremel gunsmithing to the front of this rail to make sure it would fit. And this thing's not long. It's pretty compact for what it is. For a 16-inch gun, been able to fold it up. Like compare it to the Honey Badger. With the suppressor, the Honey Badger is just a tiny bit shorter. And we're talking a very compact PDW right there. This thing packs up like in your go bag, whatever the heck it is, if you're out hunting hogs with a thermal. This is definitely a cool compact package. And then to get it torqued, just a couple little steps here. And then we screw on our suppressor, and now it's a long boy. But it is really cool and nice how you can make it really compact and set it up that way. Now, moving back here, coolest thing on here, aside from the chassis, probably is this thermal. So this is the D&T Thermite. It is, I think, an earlier generation of one. They've sent it to me a while ago, but I've gotten a lot of trigger time on it. Doing some really cool stuff at D&T. Day-Night Technologies is what it stands for. So this unit is thermal. It's got a IR illuminator. It can see in both night vision and thermal mode, which is super cool. It's got a ton of features. You can record with it. I think it's awesome for the price point. So the price point on the thermal is right around $1,200 bucks, which for a thermal that's very reasonable, honestly. There's some thermals that are like the high res ones. Those can get up to 7-8 grand. It's crazy. The thermal game is nuts. So budget thermal, budget gun. And I think the total cost on this, if you count the thermal and the chassis and the gun, it's probably around 2 grand. But if you were to do the same thing with the B&T 300 SPR is a super high speed tactical. B&T makes nice stuff, I'm not gonna lie. It's a very cool gun, but it is like over 4 grand. It does come with an integral suppressor. Like the suppressor goes all the way back to the barrel basically, so it is a shorter package overall than this. This is my goal with this project, is I wanted to just make the 300 SPR at home, and I think we did a good job with it. It's just so stupidly quiet with subsonics, and even with supersonics, it's quiet. So let's try a little bit of supers and a little bit of subs, and I'll show you the difference. Right now we just got the lav on, but I did get some footage earlier the other day with our shotgun mic, and maybe that'll provide a little bit better of a comparison. But let me just show you just the difference between the supers and the subs.
Into the dirt, super. Sub into the dirt. Another sub. God damn, it's so quiet.
All right, so the cool thing about this D&T Thermite, it's really easy to zero. There's a ton of videos online if you want to look more into it. It's a very intuitive system, I think. But the cool thing about it is you can mount piggyback, quote unquote, optic. It's kind of to the side though. I thought to keep it budget, we would put the Olight O-sight on here. My thoughts on the Olight O-sight, this is the Gen 1 one. I mean, it's a big window, the dot's clear. I don't love the whole recharging thing. If they just did a normal battery version, I think that would be better, but they wanted to be different. It is what it is. I can use that if I, don't want to use the thermal, or if the battery's dead or something. It's good to have a backup. So we're just going to use the O-sight, but I think this is a super. But we'll be able to tell immediately. We're going to go into the berm here at the super. So, heard the crack. Now this is a sub. So insane. You can hear the crack here. It's totally hearing safe. Let's try to reach out and hit a target here. Sub. This is also an MDT grip. I like the grip. It's nice and girthy. Sub. Super. A little high because it's a super. You could theoretically, with 2 optic setups, you could adjust your red dot for supers and your thermal for subs, or vice versa. I think I bounced the sub. All right, so what's the primary purpose of this gun? Well, like the B&T is essentially a sniper rifle, basically, for like close quarters. I think they made it for law enforcement more or less, like to be able to, let's say there's some like hostage situation and you need to dome a guy from like 100 yards. And with a subsonic rifle, that's pretty far with like subsonic 300 blackout, maybe 50 to 75, 100 yards. And so that is what that gun is for, essentially, is really quiet, like really low signature, taking out people quietly. Or I guess if you were on your ranch taking out hogs, really quiet, that's what the B&T is for. And that's essentially what this is for. It can be folded up and taken the suppressor off to make it super compact. If you are into 300 blackout and you don't have a big budget, like I would recommend get a bolt gun first to suppress, like this one, especially like the Ruger, because this is like a $400 gun. It's not expensive. And you don't have to do the whole chassis thing, but I think the chassis thing just really turns it up. If you want to shoot 300 blackout, you don't have a lot of money to spend on ammo, do a bolt gun, because A, it's going to be quieter than a semi-auto. B, it's just so much fun to reach out to 100 yards and hit targets. Hang out with your boys at the range and just, give her quiet piss, but not too much piss, because if you give her too much piss, your wallet will be hurting with 300 blackout. And speaking of which, I did use all Phantom Defense 220 grain. Phantom Defense makes good stuff. I like their ammo. So I did use their ammo. I bought it with my own money. The disadvantages to the Ruger, it's a budget gun, right? So it's cool that it takes AR mags, but it's not like the action is not going to be super smooth. I'm sure the B&T action's probably a lot smoother and nicer, but it gets the job done. And the trigger, we can ghost the trigger real quick just so you can see. It's got a little dingus. Unlike the P320, guys, the bolt action's got a little trigger dingus, so can't pull that trigger until this. So push that in, give it a little, it's got a clear wall here, and it's probably, my guess would be like 4 pounds maybe, something like that. Maybe a little bit lighter. Very clear brake. honestly, bolt guns are just a ton of fun, whether it's a 22, freaking 338, Lapua, or 308, they're a ton of fun to shoot. It's a different type of shooting. I got a lot of cool experience with Mega Mayfield. He showed me how to shoot a little bit of precision rifle stuff, and it's a whole different world. But with 300 Blackout, you're not getting the craziest accuracy with 220 subs, but it's a super fun cartridge to shoot, honestly. If you haven't tried 300 Blackout bolt gun, highly recommend it. MDT did send me the chassis, but I bought this rifle myself. Probably the cheapest way to get into a 300 Blackout bolt gun is going to be the Ruger American Ranch. As far as the chassis goes, I mean, it definitely makes it way more tactical having the chassis on it. And I think putting a laser, you could put a laser on that M-LOK spot, put a little Picatinny rail there, put a laser on there, and this thing would be a pretty fun night vision gun. And then not to mention, I mean, you have the Thermite can do the night vision stuff too, so you don't even necessarily need a laser because you already got everything on here. I've been really pleased with this for the price. The resolution's not going to be crazy. Definitely is enough to get the job done. That is for sure. It's pretty good for the price, and I would recommend this thermal to anyone who's looking to get into a budget thermal. This is a great option. It's sick. I'm not a huge hunting guy. I'm hoping to go on some fun little like hog hunting excursions with my buddy Tyler at Juicy Media probably sometime soon, but I actually have never killed an animal. I'm a pretty peaceful guy. I don't know, it's just never had a desire to kill an animal. With the hogs and the coyotes, you know, killing things and getting into stuff, I guess I could justify it morally. I don't know. I as much as I love guns, I don't like killing things. I just like shooting targets. But maybe I could be persuaded to do some hog hunting with this thing or something similar to it. Guys, I know it's a little bit of a shorter video, but I just wanted to share this build because I know it's not squirted or anything, but it is a really, really cool setup. I would say if you're gonna go with the stock on this thing, MDT did provide me with the stock, which I'm probably gonna switch out. I do like the Samson stock, but this is probably gonna be better for like a semi-auto or something with where you need a little bit longer length of pull, because the length of pull is just a little bit too long for that thermal to be comfortable. You kind of have to get right up here. But the great thing about shooting bolt guns is you don't get any gas to your face. The chamber's closed until you rack the bolt. So it's a very pleasant shooting, soft shooting experience, especially with subs. I'm super pleased with this. Let me know, you guys, if you've got one of your own DIY kind of super quiet 300 Blackout bolt guns. I'm curious what people run. I know there's Remington 700s that could do 300 Blackout. I know there's a lot of cool chassis for those too. Big shout out to MDT and Samson and Thermite, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Really like this can, really like this setup. This thing's a real hoot to shoot, guys. If you haven't shot 300 Blackout out of a bolt gun, do it. All right, guys, that's gonna be it. If you want early access to my videos on Patreon, I have that, as well as access to my music. It goes to help support me and pay for ammo. 300 Blackout subs, not cheap. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.